welcome back. It's my Flosstube channel all about cross stitch, MJ Stitches 23. My name is Megan and it is great to be back. If you are new, this is going to be my WIP Parade of everything that I am bringing with me into 2026. If you've been with me for a while, I'm sure you have been wondering where I've been for the last 2 to 3 months. I have some very exciting news to share with you. I am pregnant! Yay! My husband and I have been trying for 3 years to get pregnant. And this last round of IVF was successful. So I am now 4 months and 3 weeks along with a due date of June 13th this year. So we are very excited. I think I last left everyone off where I was going to Stitch North cross stitch retreat in Canada. And that is where I got really sick. I had morning sickness so bad. It was 24/7. I had to take a medical leave from work. I couldn't get out of bed. And at that Stitch retreat, Amanda was my roommate. She did such a good job of taking care of me. So Amanda, thank you. Sorry to bring that up there. I had no idea that it was gonna hit me that hard. So I couldn't even stitch for weeks and weeks. But baby is healthy. We're very excited. I'm back into stitching. And so I wanted to catch you guys up on what I've been doing. Just about every WIP that you see today is gonna have some progress on it from the last time that you've watched me. So that is exciting. So we're gonna start with stats for 2025, which was last year. It's now January of 2026. I had 7 finishes, and out of those 7 finishes, 3 of them are FFOs. I plan to do another Flosstube with just my finish parade. I know it'll be a little shorter, but I'm excited to share those with you guys because one of them is one you haven't even seen yet. So that's exciting. Today we're gonna talk about my WIP parade going into 2026, and I have 16 WIPs that I am bringing with me. For those of you that kind of have been with me along my journey here, I've only been stitching for the last year. So I don't have any start photos, so to say, because they're all starting from 0 last year. But I will show you all the progress that I have made so far. Some of it's gonna be a little bit cheating. I did stitch some here this year already, but that's just with the timing of things. So like I said, you're probably gonna see some new progress on just about every WIP that I have. The first 10 WIPs I'm going to talk about will be my Focus X for a group that I'm participating in. I participate in a couple of Facebook group games, and I joined a few more this year. So that one is for a Facebook group called WIP Warriors. They are a very active stitching group, and the group that I've decided to join within that group is picking 10 WIPs and really focusing on them throughout 2026. So those are going to be the first 10 that I show you. And then the next 6 are either ones that I'm still working on, but they're not in the focus group, or they are lagging behind and I'm not sure what my motivation level will be like for those this year. My plan is, my plan is to make another Flosstube also about my plans for 2026. So I'll talk more about the games and everything that I've joined in that video. Okay, well, thanks for welcoming me back. Thank you for being excited for me with my little growing family. I'll keep you updated on what we know. And yeah, we'll get right into the WIPs. So the first piece we're going to talk about is my biggest piece that I have. It's called Rivendell Sunrise. Yes, it is from Lord of the Rings. And I'm going to show you a picture of what it's going to look like, and then a picture of where I'm at, because this is a very large project. Out of 240,000 stitches, I have 4,200 stitches completed, which is 1.75%. So, and if you guys have watched my past videos, this is the one where when I just started stitching, I promised my husband that would be ready for Christmas last year. Obviously, that didn't happen. So this is where I am at. I'm keeping it so far in the Q-snap because this is all that I have. It's just that top corner, and it's hard to tell on camera, but there's a lot of grays. I'm using a lot of two strands of two different colors. So one strand of two colors, which is kind of, so there's a lot of blacks, grays, dark blues in here. And I've just gotten into, I'm trying to fill up this section first before moving over, because this is all right now page 1. And I'm working on some of the browns up there. So I'm gonna try to do a little bit of fill in here before we continue to move on. And this piece is gonna be with me for a long time. So you guys are gonna get to see a lot of progress on this for many years. Okay, the next piece we're gonna talk about is Wizard Sampler. This is a piece from Harry Potter. Out of 20,000 stitches, I have 6,000 complete, and it is at 30% completed. This one, I am pushing hard for a finish this year because Baby's Room, the theme for Baby's Room is going to be Harry Potter. We've already got some of the house flags up there, and we have some, so I grew up with the series, we have some newspaper articles that I've kept from like when the books came out and the movies. I've got some little wands that I made, some lights that were from our wedding that are very Harry Potter themed. Anyway, so this one hopefully is gonna be done by June. That's my plan. And here is where I'm at. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 blocks completed, and currently this is bothering me. Sorry, little owl. Pretending that's Hedwig, even though Hedwig is white. It's my little needle minder. And currently I'm working on the lightning bolt scar. So I will finish the yellow I'm working on and then fill that in and move to another block. And this one will get framed and hung in Baby's Room. So expect to see a lot of progress on this one this year, and then hopefully finish before the mid-year. My next piece, so these first four pieces, I should tell you, are all pieces that I am doing on Pattern Keeper, which is why I know the stats so well. So the next piece is called Indiana Dunes. It has a total of 6,700 stitches, and I have 4,900 complete. So I am 73% complete with this piece. It is my closest to a finish of all the WIPs that I have. Very excited about this. And here is where I'm at. So I just have a little bit more of the beach and the dune grass and then the sign. And then this one will be ready to be fully finished, which I already know where I want it to go in my house. This one means a lot to me. This is kind of where I grew up. I grew up in Chicago, but I also grew up a lot in Michigan City, Indiana, and I just love this. So very, very excited to get this one finished. And my last piece for my pattern keeper pieces is the Majestic Blue Dragon. Checking my notes. Okay, and out of this piece, there's 32,000 stitches total, and I am 1,400 stitches in. So I am 4.5% in, which doesn't sound like a lot, but when you see what I have finished, it's really kind of cool. Oh, forgot to tell you, I've been stitching all the pieces that I've done so far. I've stitched on Aida. Most of them I think are, let's see, Rivendell was 16 count Aida, the Wizard Sampler 16 count Aida, Indiana Dunes is 14 count tan Aida. This one is on a 25 count Lugana, and it's called Dusk from Bestitch Me. And I started stitching this on August 14th for Sebastian's birthday. That Sebastian is Bees and Tea Stitching on Flosstube. And that's also my anniversary date. So this one kind of had a special start. So this one, let me see the top. Oh, it's like this. So here's the whole piece. And this is what I've been working on. Lots of colors in here. So this is part of the wings. And then the head is gonna go up here. And I am leaving the background this fabric color so that it's kind of like sunset or dusk or dawn. So I will be stitching the clouds, but this is gonna be the color of the sky instead of white stitching. And I think I really like how that's gonna look. And this is a navy color. I'm not sure if you can really tell that on camera. But yeah, this one's a fun stitch. It's this is the first stitch I've had on something else other than Aida. This was my first attempt. And it has been a learning experience trying to stitch and count squares and skip one. It's getting easier, but at first it was pretty horrendous. But the more and more I stitch on that one, the more and more I like the fabric that's really soft. I'm definitely, Aida's easy to stitch on, but I like the feel of that fabric a lot better. Okay, so now we're going to move into Secret Ingredient. By Sue Hill Designs. Oh, so Majestic Blue Dragon I found on Etsy, and that was by Mrs. Magic Stitch. Gosh, you guys, I'll go back through all these because I forgot to give credit. The first ones that you found, they've all been found on Etsy. That's why they're in Pattern Keeper. Rivendell Sunrise was by Outlet Cross Stitch. Wizard Sampler was by Author and Broy Design. And Indiana Dunes was by Unique Stitch Crafts. I'm getting too excited. I'm going too fast. Okay, so the Secret Ingredient. These now are all, I'm just checking, patterns or magazines. This is by Sue Hill Designs. So this is what it looks like. I'm stitching this on 14 count Aida on Vintage Country Mocha. And I've been stitching this with season 13 of the Great British Baking Show. So I'm sure a lot of you are wondering where I'm at. I'm only on I'm only on episode, hang on, where are my notes? I think I'm stitching up still episode 4. So what I did for that one is each of these represents a contestant on the baking show, and then I play a little game, which I've explained in a few of my past videos, and I will still re-explain the game again as I keep starting my stitching. But I'll show you where I am at. So it kind of looks like a mess because I'm stitching them according to the order that contestants win prizes or get eliminated. So this is where I'm at. So every motif has a thread because each motif represents a different contestant. And then depending on the game is when I'm stitching. I am right here right now working on the apron, and I'm just up here finishing up the top. This has been fun. It's a mess. I would love to play this game again for this year. However, I don't think I'm going to be using one piece. I think I'm going to switch it up and use different contestants for different pieces. This has just been a lot, and I'm not really liking the mess. It's fun. I like the idea of the game, but it's just kind of a mess to stitch on. And it's hard counting to try to figure out where each, I don't know. So I like it. I just don't know if I would do it again the same this year for that particular game. But anyway, so that one, I think the show is over, or the season's over, but I still am catching up on watching, and I don't watch the next episode until I finish what the game is that I'm stitching on. So I'm still going on that. It's still very exciting. The next piece is called Little Leaves. It was designed by Krista West at Avlia. And that one looks like this. And this is going to be a table runner, and I'm making it, I like to host a tea party, a high tea party every year, and I think this is going to go really well on the table. Still hoping I can host that party. I know that's going to be pretty close to where baby is due, so we're just going to pretend like it's going to happen, and we'll see how I'm feeling. That's all I got. So here's where I am at with that. So I'm making some good progress. So I just need to fill out the rest of these over on this side and then do the bottom. And then figure out how I want to finish it. And this one is stitched on Makini in Ivory, which is a cloth that she gets, it's 30 count, that she gets from Greece. So pretty cool. My next piece is called Nature's Journey. It's a Sal in the Just Cross Stitch magazine, and it's in all the issues, spring, summer, fall, and winter of 2025. So this was the spring magazine of last year, and this is the spring portion. I will be doing all portions on different pieces of Aida, different colors, but they're all going to be 16 count Aida. This is by Katarina Holin of Sprouting Lupine. And then at the very end, I'm going to machine stitch them together to make one full piece. So I'm counting this as one full WIP. So this is the spring section. This is the summer section in the summer issue last year. And that's all I'm going to show you so far because that's all I have done. So this is the spring version of what I've completed. And I've stitched everything on here that needs to be stitched except for this middle motif. And I'm trading this out. I'm going to make my own iris that is going to go in here because I love irises, and I know we just talked about the high tea party I host. That's also, I host that during the time when all of my irises are blooming. I have about over 30 varieties, and that's just my favorite I love gardening with my huge iris garden. So for me, that's very important for that to go into here. And then this piece is the summer piece that I hand dyed in my garden. And then, wait, hang on, this, oh, actually, sorry guys, this goes like this. So it matches up here. So this will be stitched like that all the way down. Yeah, like that. And then the bottom two, I'm going to do another one for the fall and another one for the winter version. So I'm counting this all as one WIP. And yeah, I think that'll be a really cool finish when I'm complete. The reason why it's on 4 different pieces of fabric is because I measured the first one wrong. Because as newbies, we don't know what we're doing. So this was one of the suggestions in one of my Facebook groups that they said, well, why don't you just stitch it on 4 different pieces? And I thought that's amazing. And then I'm gonna stitch it together like a quilt on my sewing machine. Okay, next piece is called Bluebird Nest. And that's also out of a Just Cross Stitch magazine. And the issue is the April 2020 issue. So this is the magazine, and this is the piece. It's by Elizabeth Spurlock, Saving Grace's Fine Needle Arts. And I'm stitching this on 14 count Aida on a fabric that I dyed light blue again in my garden. I started this one in August 2025. This was for Robin's birthday start on the 7th. And she is a part of a co-owner of one of the Facebook groups I'm a part of, which is Monthly Magazine Cross Stitch Challenge. And so this is where I'm at. So I have a lot of work done on the bird, a lot of the colors in here. There you go. So this one's just gonna keep chugging along this year. Very pretty. Okay, my next piece is called Stitch an Inch Fall. There we go. So it's gonna, these are all the little pieces of the inches, and I'm doing the entire full piece here. So this one is by Donna Bayless at By the Bay Needle Art on Etsy. I'm stitching this on an Aida 22 count. And this is where I'm at. So I have just this portion, that's the outline of the house there. So not too much done, very small. I don't know if I like stitching on this small, but I really like how it looks at the end. It's very tight squares. So it's kind of a nice break for me to stitch on this after I'm stitching on some of my other Aida projects. So this one, yeah, I don't know. I just really like the colors for fall. So we'll see where that one gets done by the end of this year. Okay, and then my last piece in my group of 10 WIPs is called Italian Blessing, which is this one. And I'm stitching this on 14 count Aida. This is by Diane, authors of Imaginating 2029. Not that I, excuse me, I didn't start it then. That's just when her design copyright was. I felt the need to write that down for some reason. So this is where I'm at. So I'm kind of back stitching this one at the same time as I am stitching. So you can kind of see some of the back stitching work. I don't know why I'm doing this for this one. There's a lot of back stitching, and I just like the way that it's looking with the back stitching. I think I got curious, and so I just stitch a little bit, and then when I get tired of doing the stitching, I'll work on the back stitching for this piece. So yeah, so this one's coming along too. Okay, so those are the 10 WIPs that I will be mostly focusing on for the one Facebook group for this year. So I have 6 more WIPs to go through. I'm gonna take a quick break so I can get them set up, and for you guys it'll be like 2 seconds, and I will be right back. Okay, I'm back. So my next WIP is called Home Sweet Home by Nanette Parisi of Design Works. And this is on 14 count black Aida. You guys, this one is one of the first ones that I added to my collection when I was joining a lot of the games. And I'm just not a really great fan of it anymore. I don't know. I love the colors. That's what really attracted me to it. I love the black. But this one might be my first DNF. So this is where I'm at. So I've got that pink, start of this pink flower done. So I think what I might do for this one is just finish these flowers right here. I like that little flower set, and then call it a day and be done. So yeah, we'll see where this one takes me this year. I've got a lot of those other projects that I'm working on that I like a lot better, and we'll see how much work this one gets done, what happens to it. I don't know. I don't know yet about that one. The next one we're gonna talk about is my Sal, it's called Flower Garden by MJ Blanco. And she has a Facebook group called 100 Days of Cross Stitch. I started stitching, this is one of the other first projects that I started. I started stitching this on monk's cloth, 12 count, and I'm sure a lot of you were wondering why. Yeah, me too. Well, I found it at one of the craft stores for super cheap, and I thought, oh, this is gonna be great. So here's where I'm at. I don't have a before picture. Here's the way that her group works. She posts one little section like this on her Facebook group, and then you stitch that day's worth of work, and then the next day she stitches this much, and then you stitch that, and like this. So each day it's like 100 days of cross stitch. So I joined her group when she was on day 60. So I started filling some of this out, and I got behind, so I decided to not try to keep up. Not behind, I was already behind. I just couldn't catch up fast enough. So I still have this. I was just playing with different colors. We'll see. I don't know. We'll see if I finish it or not. I don't know. I just don't know how I feel about it. So there's that one. And then along the same lines, my next piece is from her same group. So she started this one September 1st, and I actually was doing a great job of keeping along and keeping up. So this one I'm stitching on 16 counts on a blue and gray fabric that I hand dyed in my garden. And this is where I got to. I was so proud. I was keeping up with this, you guys, every single day, all the way until Stitch North. And then I got horribly sick from morning sickness, and I just couldn't stitch anymore for weeks. So I fell behind. I don't know, fell behind. I stopped stitching. And another thing about this piece is that I stitched all of this, and then she realized that she had made a mistake in the pattern. So I had to unstitch all of this to make sure to fix it, basically. And I just got really irritated because I was doing, I don't know, stitching one of these a day. I've learned, you guys, on these sals, it takes between 30 minutes to an hour. Not quite an hour. I would say about just a little over 30 minutes for me to stitch. And so when I'm trying to play all these other games and do this other stitching, it's hard. It's hard to keep up with this and everything else I wanted to do. So I think I got really upset because I stitched all the way here and then I had to unstitch it, and then I was getting sick and a couple days went by and I just felt like I was really behind, and then I just stopped. Well, and then I stopped stitching completely because I just got too sick. Anyway, so this one I have a love-hate relationship with right now. Now that I pull it out, because I haven't looked at it in like 2 months, I'm like, wow, it's actually really pretty, and I think finishing it would be fun. She has completed her design, so it is on Facebook, so I now have the whole design that I can stitch. And I actually think that one of these other sections, there's a mistake that she hasn't noticed. I don't remember. I have to go back and check, and that was kind of bothering me. But I'm not certain on that, so I don't want to message her or anything yet until I'm certain that it is a mistake. I just remember that in my head, so I don't know. Maybe it's been fixed already. So we'll see. This one, it's a quicker stitch now that the whole thing's completed, and it's just one color. I'm just stitching it with one color, so I think it'll be a quicker stitch. Mixed feelings about this. So I do want to get this one done though. This one eventually will have a done date. I think I just needed a break from it, to be honest. Okay, so that one. Next we have is Peaceful Mountain Camping Scene from Pocket Mama Shop on Etsy. And I'm stitching this on Aida 11 count that I hand dyed with one of my with my stitching group, my local stitching group in Tacoma, with one of the ladies there. And so this one, actually I'll show you. Here's my project bag that I made for this one. It's a camping piece, so I only take this piece when I'm out camping, and I stitch on it around the campfire and in my little camping chair and outside, and it's actually really fun. So I don't ever stitch on this unless I'm on a camping trip. So I think that'll be kind of a fun. So here's where I am at. So I know I'll be going on a camping trip. I have plans to do that in October of this year. But because I'm pregnant, I'm not sure how much spring camping I'll be doing or summer camping. I don't know. We'll just have to see how everything goes. So you might not see this one for a while again, but it's definitely going to get finished because I just really like this. And I have some other ideas of camping pieces that I want to start after this. So I think that theme of bringing a piece to stitch on just while camping is going to be with me for a few years. I really like that idea. Okay, my next piece that we're going to talk about is, let me just make sure I'm where my notes are. Okay, is going to be, well, we're going to talk about, okay, so I have a specific piece. It's called Lighthouse Sampler by the Made Needle Art on Etsy, and I'm stitching it on 14 count Aida that I hand dyed Blue with a Touch of Green out in my garden. I got really into dyeing a little bit last year. I'll probably do some more dyeing this year. It's, I don't know, it's just kind of fun. I have a lot of white Aida that I'm tired of white, so I'm just gonna see what happens when I do some different dye techniques. That one, so with that cross stitch piece, I'm in a group called Stitching Connection, which is like a round robin that's put on by Jason Cross Stitches on, not Facebook, sorry, Flosstube. And so there's a group of 4 of us, and we stitch a bit on one piece and then mail it to the next person, and they stitch on it, and then we keep mailing it until we get our piece back and it will be finished. So hopefully, as I've been talking, I've been posting some photos of what my piece looks like and then where I was with it. So now it's being worked on by other members in my group. So the piece that I currently have is called Trick or Treat, designed by Misty Pure Cell, and it's Luminous Fiber Arts. And so this is the piece that one of the ladies chose. No, that's not right. This was a piece by Sebastian. Sorry, Sebastian chose this. I had to think about that. I think this was Sebastian's original piece, and Sebastian is B's and T's stitching on Flosstube. So to show you kind of how that works. So Sebastian stitched this first part, sent it to me, and then I've stitched this part, and then I will send it to another one of the members of our group, and then they'll send it to the last person in the group. And then when Sebastian gets it back, all of this will be finished. And so this, Sebastian chose a really cool purple variegated thread to use. So that's what this is. And then the outline was the 310 black. So really cool idea that Jason kind of came up with, and our group has been really understanding about timing. Like, there's no timing. It's just kind of, you know, when you get it done. And if you fall behind, it's not really a big deal because there is no deadline. And so we just kind of all keep in touch, and it's really good to have some stitchers to kind of communicate with, and you know, like he has, you know, it's building connections. So my group is pretty cool. I like them a lot. So that is going to now be shipped. Sorry, I think I said I was going to ship this last week to my group, but I wanted it for the Flosstube. So yay, now I can ship that out. I'll probably ship it out today because I have some errands to run. So that will go out. So that WIP I'm counting as one WIP, which I'm counting under Lighthouse Sampler because that is the piece that I chose, if that makes sense, even though I'm going to be working on 4 WIPs. Okay, and then my last piece that I'm going to talk about, I don't have. So I'll explain to you about that piece. The piece is called Christmas Tradition Stocking. It's a Dimensions kit. It's stitched on 14 count light blue Aida. It is a Christmas stocking. I am now stitching this. So I started stitching this last year. I'm going to try to post a few photos so you can kind of see where I'm at. And my mother-in-law decided to help me stitch it, and we're stitching it for baby. So it's going to be baby stocking for Christmas this year. So we're working together to get that done so that it can kind of be like one of those little heirloom pieces, like mom and grandma stitched on this piece. So that is really exciting. She currently has it and has done a bunch more stitching on it. So when I get it, I'll show you the progress that she made, and then I'll continue stitching on it to make a bit of progress, and then send it back to her, and we just kind of keep passing it back and forth until we get a finish out of it. So that one, I'm really, really excited about that one. And that is my that's my 16 WIPs that I'm bringing with me into 2025. Very excited. Thank you for joining me. If you lasted this long, great job. You deserve a prize, and the prize I'm going to show you my tummy. Do you guys want to see my little baby? So here's my tummy. There's a little baby. So these pants, I don't know if any of you guys are doing in the progress of pregnancy or anything, but stretchy pants are very, very fun right now because my tummy's a little bigger than normal. So it's just gonna keep getting bigger. I'm very excited. So you guys take care of yourself. Be nice to yourself. It's a new year and new stitching goals, and we'll see you very soon. Thank you for watching.